Oh, also, wanted to let you know I am going to be using my handy dandy laptop here for my notes because this is not CNN and I'm not perfect. Hey everybody, welcome to my channel if this is your first time here, and if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for being here. I am actually Amanda, a woman living life at the intersection of autism, scoliosis, homeschooling, and real estate, and today I'm going to talk about a requested topic about working in real estate. So I'm going to be discussing how my scoliosis and my autism impact my work as a realtor. So let's go. So I thought that I would start with a story of how I became a real estate agent. So in order to tell that story, I've got to take you all the way back to 2010 when my husband and I bought our very first house. We bought this teeny little 3-2 starter home. And when we closed on that deal, there was something about the whole process that I was like, wait a second, what? It's over? Like, even though I was happy and excited to have gotten my keys to my new home, I still kind of missed it, like I had bonded with our realtor and I just missed the whole process. So at the time I kind of considered, going to get my real estate license and trying to see what that would mean and what that could look like. But the problem was that we had a baby. No, I was pregnant in 2010 when we bought this house. So we had a baby coming and I had a full-time job and we needed that full-time job. So it didn't make a lot of sense for me to stop what I was doing, spend a bunch of money to get certified in real estate, and then work a commission-based job. That didn't make any sense for us at the time. So I looked into it, but pretty quickly dismissed it as something that just didn't make sense. So since that transaction, my husband and I have gone through real estate transactions 4 other times, and every single time I've gotten to the end of it and I'm like, a lot of fun. I think I'd like to do that. And of course I've idolized HGTV shows about house flippers and stuff like that. I just love it. And I really enjoy the process of buying and selling and working with property. So after I bought my house in 2021, after we moved from Florida to Mississippi, the agent that I worked with at the time had posted on Facebook that she needed some help with marketing and graphic design. And I was at home homeschooling the boys and figured, hey, I could do a little something, a few hours a week, part-time, virtual from home. So I applied for that and got that job and started learning a little bit more about working in real estate from working with her. And then about a year after that, in the summer of 2022, she had gotten her status, I guess, as a team with the state, and she was looking to add a new agent to her team. So she had asked me to put together some information that she could share online to advertise and get a new agent to join her team. So as she's going through all the benefits, I told her this sounds really great. I wish I was licensed. And the phone kind of went quiet for a second, and she said, well, Amanda, get your license. And I was like, okay, I've got somebody that thinks that I could actually do this. So I took a more serious look into it. I didn't have the worry and stress that time about having to leave a salaried position in order to go commission because I was at home with the boys. So it was a little bit easier to consider it. It made a little bit more sense, a lot more sense actually in my life. So I did it. I took my course, passed the test, all the things. I got licensed in the fall of 2022 and had one transaction that winter, which I was so thankful for and so excited and just so proud of to have my first one. And then I moved into 2023 where I think I did 12 transactions over the course of the year, which is really great for a first full year in real estate. Really proud of my work. But something that I guess the reason why I wanted to make this video was to talk about how my disabilities impact my ability to do my job as a realtor. I definitely want to approach this from the standpoint that my disabilities are not necessarily bad. They just are what they are. They are who I am, and it is what it is. So not everything about them is necessarily negative. There are some cons to being autistic and having scoliosis and working in real estate. But there's some pros too. So we're going to talk about some things about specifically my autism that make me good in real estate. So here we go. Let's get started. Oh, also, wanted to let you know I am going to be using my handy dandy laptop here for my notes because this is not CNN and I'm not perfect. And yeah, so here we go. So quickly, I want to just share my scoliosis story with you. I have severe scoliosis that is unfused. I have a 47-degree curve in my lumbar spine and a 37-degree curve in my thoracic. I was diagnosed when I was 12 years old and braced from 13 to 16-ish when I stopped wearing my brace because I learned how to take myself out of it. I'm going to link a longer video about my scoliosis diagnosis down in the description. So if that's something that you're interested in, it's there for you. So it is safe to say that I have back pain all day, every day. It's something that I wake up with, I experience all day, I struggle with in the evenings, and that I sleep with. It just is what it is. If you saw the condition of my spine, you would understand. So some issues that I have with scoliosis and working in real estate can be the long days of showing houses. Sometimes I've had to drive really far to go and show houses because I'm gonna go and sell a house. So sitting in the car for a long time can be challenging. Holding open houses can be challenging. I recently had a Saturday and a Sunday open house where I sat for like 4 hours for both days and my back was just killing me at the end of it. So those types of things are kind of intrinsic to real estate, like driving, having long showing days. If you have buyers who are ready, hosting open houses, that is what it is. So I have to push through and do what I need to do. It's important that my car has a butt heater in it, not because I'm cold, I'm actually very hot natured, but so that it can warm up my back and heat my back for me until I get home and I can use my ice packs. Additionally, there are some times in my real estate job that require physical things. It requires me to use my body. Not all realtors are going to do things like this, but I always go above and beyond for my clients, and it's part of my service to them. So whatever my clients need help that's inside of my capacity to do, I will provide for them. Later on today, I'm actually waiting on some clients to come in from Texas to come and see one of my listings, and I'm going to be going over to that listing and getting it ready because the seller is currently snowed in like 45 minutes away from where the listing is. So I'm going over there and I'm going to get it show ready for her since she can't be here, which is not a problem. That's part of my service. I've cleaned for clients. I've gone over literally the day of closing and helped clean. I've bought flowers for pictures to make a house prettier. I've offered staging and design opinions. I've helped people with to-do lists when they're extremely overwhelmed. I've attended photography sessions so that I can make sure that my listings are really going to shine in marketing. I've helped keep clients on tasks when they're kind of scatterbrained. So I can do all of those things, but it does come with a cost. Usually for my back, that means at some point in the day, I'm gonna hit a wall and I'm gonna have to go and sit down and I'm gonna have to rest, even though my mind may want to keep going and may want to keep working. At a certain point, my body is gonna say, that's it, we're all done. So that's kind of how my scoliosis impacts my real estate world. I don't usually have to tell my clients about it, but sometimes I do. Sometimes people will share things about their life, and that's a way that I can kind of commiserate and share something about my life too. So next I want to talk about autism and real estate, and this is one where I started with breaking it down into like emotional and social and mental, and then as I was reading through like my list of autistic traits that I've built, I started seeing things on there that I was like, well, actually this trait makes me really good at what I do. It's not bad. It makes me a better real estate agent. So then I decided, okay, I'm gonna separate the list into things that make me a great realtor and things that can make me struggle a little bit. So working in real estate is not only physically demanding, but it can also be emotionally and mentally demanding. And my autism absolutely plays a role here. I do try really hard not to let my clients see. I try to be as professional as possible and my work is not a place where I feel comfortable being unmasked. So, of course, you guys know that also comes with a cost. So anyways, here are some autistic traits that make me a really good realtor. So my sense of sight. I see everything. Sometimes it's a detriment in my personal life, but in real estate, it's great because I don't miss a detail when it comes to photography, showings or open houses. When I'm working with a buyer and we're looking at a property, I can point out and see things that maybe they miss. When we're getting ready to list a house and we're doing photography and video work, it's very easy for me to spot like what isn't working or what doesn't need to be here or what needs to be moved, etc. So that really plays to both my client's advantage, but also to my advantage as well, because it makes me a really good realtor. Another thing that makes me a great agent is being straightforward in how I word things. In my personal life, anybody who's autistic knows that being straightforward can often mean that you are going to be called blunt or rude. I get called that a lot. I get called intimidating a lot. And I don't think I'm an intimidating person, but it's just how some people read me. But in my professional world, my clients appreciate the fact that I don't beat around the bush and I don't play games. I don't play games with other agents. I don't play games with my clients. I'm very straightforward with my clients, with other agents that I work with, and the entire teams that I've worked with during deals, from working with lenders and attorneys to make a closing happen. I'm a straight shooter, and that's, you get what you get. Like, I am straightforward. Another thing that makes me a really great realtor in terms of my autism is that expectations in real estate are explicit. There are no gray areas when it comes to helping people buy or sell a home. It's all explicitly expressed, and the majority of that is done through writing. So when this particular environment is in place, when there are clear expectations and they are often written in writing, that allows me to be a superstar because I know exactly what is expected of me and I can perform exactly that way. So that's really great in real estate. Working with routines. So both when listing houses and helping buyers, it comes with a flow. Now, every single deal is different. Literally, there's something to be learned every single time, and it's not ever going to be exactly the same. But there's a pretty general bullet point flow for how real estate transactions work. So this is another autistic superpower for me because I thrive on routines. I love routines, and I love once I've gotten somebody through the funnel of maybe just being interested in putting their house on the market or are a buyer and have decided that they're going to make an offer. Once we get to that point, I'm like, yes, let's go. I know what to do from here. I know what to do before also, but it's the routine of a transaction that feels really good to me. So, like I said before, when I was going through my autistic traits list, I did find those positive things, but I also found some areas where I know that I struggle and I know that my autism makes it difficult for me. So the first one that I found was my sensory issues. So sensory issues cause my anxiety to flare up. Sitting in open houses in empty spaces that echo, so I'm on high alert for any little sound that's made, or lived in houses that make sounds that I'm not familiar with. So maybe I'm sitting in someone's home and the home is comfortable, but there's all of these sounds around me or sights around me that I really can't control because it's not my environment. All of that can be really stressful to me. Also, just the stuff that some people have in their home. Textures can be really, really upsetting to me, like certain blankets, certain carpets, certain smells. Those types of things can really upset me. And I actually wrote, when I was writing the script out, I literally caught myself stimming and popping my fingers and playing with my little anxiety ring when I was typing that out because I was thinking through some particular textures and things that have bothered me in the past. Another struggle that autism gives me when working in my real estate career is processing auditory speech, especially on phone calls. Phone calls are the bane of my existence, and I hate them. I'm always screening my phone calls, always. I typically won't answer if the number is not in my phone, and even then I still may not answer and text you right back. It's just really difficult for me. So I really do prefer text for two reasons. One, so our conversation is written down. I know what was said and you know what was said, and there's no hearsay in between because we have the text to show it. And then also because it's much easier for me to process what I've read instead of what I've heard. Okay, obviously I do have to talk on the phone quite a lot as a realtor, and it can just be a real struggle with me when I'm not speaking to someone in person because I naturally do a lot of lip reading to kind of help me fill in the gaps with what someone has said. Because I don't have a problem hearing, I do have a problem processing it. It's something in my brain where I have to listen really, really, really hard. And like I said, I do a lot of lip reading that fills in the gaps. And it's not something that I try to do. It's just something that happens. It's just a way that my brain works to try to help me make sense of what someone is saying. If someone that I'm speaking to on the phone has an accent, or maybe I don't have great service, I can tell you from the get-go that interaction is not going to go well. And I'm going to have to wait until another time because I can't understand you. I'm like stressed out and getting hot just thinking about that. So that's fun. Okay. So the next one is a really hard one for me, and this is making eye contact. Sometimes I can get away with the requirement to make eye contact in my job by looking around. Like if I'm showing a house to a buyer, I can be looking around the property. If I'm getting ready to list, I can be looking around. Even if we're like walking and the seller's giving me a tour, I can, be looking around, and that's totally acceptable for me to do instead of stare at, my client. But when it comes down to having that kitchen table conversation, where we've got to sit down and make some, hard decisions about scheduling and when we're going on the market and signing paperwork and things like that, I catch myself using too much eye contact, like kind of overcompensating in that area. And then it's really easy once I'm doing that for me to zone out of the conversation because I can't do both for an extended period of time. I can't listen to you and really process what you're saying and hold your eye contact all at the same time. I just can't. So this one is really a fine balance for me, and it's one that I'm really always struggling to kind of keep in check. Also, the next one is I wrote, I'm really weird at work get-togethers. I know that's brand new information. But I'm always nervous at work events, always. I'm nervous that I'm going to get called on when we have meetings together. And then even when I do get called on, my skin like immediately flushes. Like I can feel it up my neck. I can feel my face. Like I immediately flush. And it's so embarrassing because I'm not nervous to speak in front of people. It's just the way my body responds to having to do it. I don't like it. When I go to a social work event, I either behave in one of two ways, and both of these I don't necessarily think that maybe other people notice and they're just kind and don't make a big deal about it, but I don't know. Anyways, I behave in either one of two ways. Either I will attach myself to one person. It's usually an inappropriate person. Like most recently, I can remember when I was a brand new agent, I didn't know who this person was, but I had gone to like a broker's open house that my team leader was hosting. And I started just chatting with this lady, and I thought that she was nice, and I kind of attached myself to her and like found her from room to room and talked to only her. She's one of our managing brokers. Do you have any idea how embarrassed I was when I found that out afterwards? I'd been following this woman around, and she's one of our managing brokers for a different office. That's why I didn't know her. But I was so embarrassed because I was like, why in the world would I do that? So anyways, another fun thing that I do at parties, which is really dumb. It's not dumb. I'm sorry. I don't mean to say that. It's just a struggle. It's a struggle for me. So if I'm not attaching myself to one person, the other thing that I'm probably doing is masking my way through the event. So I'm here, you've seen my face, but often I won't like engage in a conversation with any one particular person, and I'll kind of flit around maybe from room to room if it's a house, where there are folks and kind of groups everywhere. So I really won't like join into a particular group or a conversation, but it will appear that I am. Sometimes it will even appear as if I'm looking for somebody who's not there, especially like if I'm completely by myself, and I don't have like my husband with me, then I will catch myself like looking and looking and looking. Like I think that I'm looking for an easy conversation to slide into, but that's not simple for me. So we are to get-togethers. Okay, the next thing that I wanted to talk about is about routines. So there's a flip side to this one. I talked about how it is pro that I like routines and that routines really work for me in terms of real estate, but when things go off the rails, and they do sometimes in deals, I do struggle to figure out what the next step is. So now that's not to say that my clients ever actually see that happen, but my anxiety can go through the roof when something is going wrong, and I know that I have to make a phone call to my client and tell them that something is going wrong. So sometimes when things happen, I will either take time to myself, or I'll talk it out either with my husband or my team leader or even my broker before I call my client. So I always want to make sure that I have a solution or even multiple solutions that we can try before I call my client with difficult news that something has happened. So it's really that window of time between when that difficult thing happens that kind of derails the conversation and after I've talked to my client. So in that space where the routine is off, my anxiety is through the roof, off the charts, and is not going to come down until I've gotten to the other side and I've had that difficult conversation with my client. So that can be really challenging and stressful and can come with a cost, which leads me to being extremely overwhelmed to the point of even going mute. I can make it through a day in real estate. I can work in real estate. I enjoy it. I would say it's a borderline like special interest for me. So I can make it through the day. But when I get home after a long or a particularly difficult day, I tend to either need a lot of quiet time to myself, or will have a little meltdown and need to like just sit with the way that the day went and work through it. I can get very overwhelmed to the point that it becomes difficult, if not impossible, to speak. And I know that that's very frustrating to people that are around me, especially like my family at home, because I've come home and they want to see me and they want to spend time with me. But I can really struggle to like articulate what's gone on today and why I feel the way that I feel until I've had a little bit of time to be alone with myself. And I know that they're so sweet. They just want to spend time with me. But if I've had a challenging day at work, sometimes I just can't. Sometimes I just need that time by myself. So overall, I really do enjoy working in real estate. It's a lucrative career choice that provides financially for my family, and it gives me the flexibility in our schedule to continue to be able to homeschool while I work, and remain their primary caretaker, which is what my husband and I have always wanted for our kids. I enjoy getting to know my clients, and with many of them, we're friends by the time we close the deal, and we, keep in contact via, text or social media. So if you're thinking about a career in real estate and you're autistic, I really hope this video helped you. If you're considering a career in real estate and you have some type of physical disability, I hope this helped you as well to kind of think about some of the realities of what a career in real estate actually looks like. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video today and learned a little something about how scoliosis and autism specifically affect my work as a real estate agent. And if you did, if you could please consider giving this video a like and subscribing to my channel, I would really, really appreciate it. So if you struggle with disabilities and you also work in real estate, or if you're considering a career in real estate, I'd love to hear your thoughts or your questions down in the comments below. And if there's another topic that you'd be interested in hearing my perspective on, you can drop that down below as well. Thanks so much for being here. Until next time. Bye.